Hello everyone, welcome to Election Future. Shocking new polls have just been released, revealing a lot of good news for Trump and a possible landslide in November. Today, I'll show you exactly how this could happen, including knocking off some of Harris's safe-type states. She is expected to secure Washington, California, Colorado, Hawaii, Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maryland, the District of Columbia, Delaware, Maine's 1st District, and New York. For Trump, we have Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota, all of Nebraska except the 2nd District, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, and Alaska. Trump currently trails behind Harris, but this is unlikely to last long. Now, turning to Harris's likely states, Rhode Island remains in her likely category, but her support is clearly faltering. The latest and bold research poll, surveying 876 likely voters, shows her lead over Trump has shrunk to 14 points. While this may appear comfortable, it's a significant drop from Biden's 20.8-point margin in 2020. This sharp decline in Democratic strength highlights how poorly Harris is performing, even in a historically strong Democratic state like Rhode Island. Her struggle to maintain a solid hold on such a safe state underscores how vulnerable the Democrats have become this election cycle. Trump's growing momentum is undeniable, and even in blue states like Rhode Island, cracks are beginning to show in Harris's presumed dominance. New Jersey, once a deep blue state where Biden won by 15.9 points in 2020, now appears more favorable for Trump. A recent active vote poll of 400 likely voters shows Harris leading by just 12 points, signaling that her support is waning. While New Jersey may still lean blue, the shrinking margin is a clear indication of growing dissatisfaction with the Democratic Party, even in what was once considered a safe state. As Trump gains traction in key battlegrounds, Harris's slipping numbers in New Jersey reflect a broader national shift toward Trump. Minnesota may fall within Harris's likely category, but Trump shouldn't be counted out just yet. The latest Redfield and Wilton Strategies poll of 544 likely voters shows Harris with an 8-point lead. But as we've seen repeatedly, Trump is often underestimated in polling. Despite her apparent advantage, the race in Minnesota is more competitive than it appears. Trump's appeal to rural voters and his growing support in critical areas could close the gap as Election Day nears. Although Minnesota looks safe for Harris for now, Trump's track record of defying expectations means this state could still surprise. Virginia, a state where Harris holds nearly the same lead as Joe Biden did in 2020, remains steady. Biden won the state by 10.8 points, and a new poll from Christopher Newport University's Wason Center, conducted among 800 likely voters, shows Harris leading Trump by 11 points. While this indicates the state leans blue, it's crucial to note that Harris has made little progress here. This should concern Democrats, especially considering that polls frequently underestimate Trump, suggesting the race in Virginia may be tighter than it seems. New Hampshire has swung in favor of Harris, with the latest University of Massachusetts poll showing her leading Trump by 9 points. Back in 2016, Clinton narrowly edged out Trump by 0.37 points, and Biden expanded that margin to 7.4 points in 2020, securing the state's Democratic foothold. Although early 2024 polls hinted at a closer contest when Biden was still the likely candidate, Harris has managed to maintain a solid lead. However, given that Trump is often underestimated in this state, and considering his strong showings in other battlegrounds, the margin could easily narrow as the election draws near. Nebraska's 2nd District and Maine at large are also expected to remain in Harris's likely category. New Mexico typically falls into Harris's camp as well. Recent polling has revealed some surprising developments. Unexpectedly, the first state in Trump's likely column is Florida. Trump is dominating Harris, with the latest active vote poll of 400 likely voters giving him a commanding 9-point lead. Florida, once a critical battleground, now appears firmly in Trump's control, further solidifying the GOP's dominance in the state. Trump's growing support among Latino voters and his strong presence in key regions such as the I-4 corridor and North Florida have significantly widened the gap. With Florida's 30 electoral votes on the line, Harris is clearly struggling in what was once considered a competitive state. This decisive lead is yet another sign that Florida has shifted solidly into the Republican column, positioning Trump for a significant victory as Election Day approaches. Moving over to Ohio, it remains a reliable state for Trump. The latest Morning Consult poll of 1,243 likely voters gives him a solid 7-point lead over Harris. While this margin is slightly narrower than his victories in 2016 and 2020, where he won by over 8 points. It still underscores Trump's firm grip on the state. Ohio's conservative, working-class voter base remains strongly aligned with Trump, and Harris's failure to make significant inroads here only reinforces his dominance, with J.D. Vance's stellar performance in the vice presidential debate further boosting Trump's standing. Ohio is firmly in his column and is once again proving to be a key piece of his 2024 electoral strategy. Moving to Iowa, Trump continues to command the state with a solid 7-point lead over Harris, as shown by the latest Signal poll of 600 likely voters. It's clear that Iowa remains a stronghold for Trump, consistent with his past dominance, where he won by 9.4 points in 2016 and 8.2 points in 2020. What was once a competitive battleground has now shifted firmly into Trump's territory, thanks to the overwhelming support from Iowa's rural conservative voters, who have embraced Trump's populist message. Iowa's move toward becoming a reliably Republican state is yet another testament to Trump's enduring appeal and strength heading into 2024. Harris has no real path to winning over voters in this state, which remains locked in for Trump. Trump will easily claim Texas, which comes in as a massive win for him, with the latest active vote poll showing him ahead by a commanding 12-point margin. This places Texas solidly in Trump's likely category, reinforcing his dominance in a state that remains critical to the GOP's electoral map. With 56% of the vote, Trump has a firm grip on Texas, and Harris's inability to make inroads here underscores the GOP's strength. Texas's 40 electoral votes are firmly in Trump's column, ensuring a decisive victory that further boosts his path to re-election in 2024. This is a huge win for Trump and a clear sign that Texas is staying deep red. Maine's 2nd District also joins Trump's side, where he leads by a comfortable 7 points, moving to his leaning category. In these states, the respective candidate leads by a narrow margin. Recent polling has revealed some surprising developments. In a notable shift, Oregon is signaling how poorly Harris is performing, once a deep blue state for Biden, where he led by a 16.1-point margin in 2020. Trump is now gaining significant ground. Early 2024 polls kept Oregon in the likely category for Harris with a comfortable double-digit lead. However, since Harris took the helm, the Democratic stronghold has crumbled, with the gap more than halved, dropping Oregon into the lean category. Harris now holds a slim 5-point lead, according to a Hoffman Research Group poll of 700 likely voters. This sharp decline is a clear sign that Trump is making major inroads in what was once a reliably Democratic state. Harris's faltering performance in Oregon reflects a broader national trend where Trump's momentum is chipping away at the Democrats' dominance, even in deep blue states. With Election Day nearing, Harris's vulnerability in Oregon could be yet another blow to the DNC's crumbling defenses. Similarly to Oregon, Trump's gains in New Mexico are remarkable. The latest Redfield and Wilton Strategies poll shows Harris leading by only 4 points, down from Biden's 10.8-point margins in 2020. This narrowing gap is a significant victory for Trump, as New Mexico has long been a Democratic stronghold. The fact that Trump has closed the gap so dramatically speaks volumes about his growing appeal, particularly among Hispanic voters and those concerned with economic issues. With this momentum, New Mexico is no longer a safe state for the Democrats, and Trump is positioning himself to potentially flip this blue state in a shocking reversal. Arizona is shaping up to be a major win for Trump. The latest Redfield and Wilton Strategies poll, conducted with 691 likely voters, shows Trump with a 3-point lead over Harris. Arizona, a critical battleground in recent elections, is now leaning toward Trump, reflecting a strong shift in his favor. After narrowly losing the state to Biden in 2020 by just 0.3 points, Trump is regaining ground. His message on immigration and border security continues to resonate with Arizona voters. And with the state's 11 electoral votes on the line, Trump's momentum appears unstoppable. As Election Day approaches, Harris is struggling to keep up, and Trump is on track to reclaim this pivotal state. North Carolina is also coming in as a significant win for Trump. The latest Redfield and Wilton Strategies poll of 843 likely voters shows him leading Harris by 3 points. This growing lead solidifies Trump's position in a state where he won by 1.3 points in 2020. Although North Carolina remains competitive, Trump's advantage suggests the state is trending firmly Republican. With 15 electoral votes at stake, this crucial battleground could be instrumental in securing another term. Harris is struggling to close the gap, and Trump's momentum continues to hold. Georgia is now a critical win for Trump, with the latest Redfield and Wilton Strategies poll of 1,019 likely voters showing Trump leading Harris by 1 point. This is a crucial boost for Trump, particularly in a state that Biden narrowly won in 2020. The shift back toward Trump indicates his growing support among suburban and rural voters, giving him strong momentum as we approach Election Day. With Georgia's 16 electoral votes on the line, Trump's edge in this pivotal battleground could play a decisive role in securing another term. Michigan is now an intense battleground, with the latest Redfield and Wilton Strategies poll showing Harris and Trump tied at 47% each. While the numbers seem even on the surface, history tells us that Trump is often underestimated in polling. Based on this, Michigan is likely leaning in Trump's favor, positioning him to flip the state back into his column. Trump's momentum is building in Michigan, a state he famously won in 2016 before narrowly losing it to Biden in 2020. With 15 crucial electoral votes up for grabs, Trump's resurgence in Michigan could play a decisive role in securing his path to victory in 2024. Nevada is shaping up to be another significant win for Trump. The latest Redfield and Wilton Strategies poll of 529 likely voters gives him a 1-point lead over Harris. While this margin is narrow, it signals that Nevada is trending in Trump's favor. In 2016, Clinton won Nevada by just 2.4 points, and Biden held on to it in 2020 by the same margin. But now Trump is flipping the state. The state. This shift showcases Trump's growing appeal and his ability to defy expectations even in states where Democrats have historically held an advantage. With Nevada's 6 electoral votes on the line, Trump's momentum could very well deliver a win here as Election Day nears. Wisconsin, once a critical part of the Democratic firewall, is now slipping into dangerous territory for Harris. The latest RMG research poll of 787 likely voters shows Trump leading by 1 point, marking a significant win for Trump in this key battleground state. With his momentum growing and the fact that polls consistently underestimate his support, Wisconsin looks set to tilt red in November. Trump flipped Wisconsin in 2016, and while Biden narrowly took it back in 2020, it's clear that Trump is once again on track to reclaim the state. With its 10 electoral votes up for grabs, Trump's lead here is a huge blow to Harris and could play a pivotal role in securing another victory for the former president. Pennsylvania is now leaning toward Trump, with the latest Quantus Insights poll of 840 likely voters showing him ahead of Harris by 2 points. Although the margin may seem narrow, we know that polls often underestimate Trump's actual support. As Pennsylvania tilts firmly in Trump's favor, it's clear his momentum is growing in this critical battleground state. Trump secured Pennsylvania in 2016, and while Biden narrowly reclaimed it in 2020, Trump's resurgence here is undeniable. With Pennsylvania's 19 electoral votes at stake, Trump is well positioned to flip the state again. As his message continues to resonate strongly with working-class voters, this state could very well fall into Trump's column as Election Day approaches. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this leading up to the election in November.